Hey everybody, we're going to do a tool review on these Ariens snowblowers I have. I believe every one of these is 6 or 7 years old, and one of the steel ones might be a little older than that. But I'll show you the experience I've had with them, what I like about these versus the new ones. I've had super good luck with these. I'm going to come right out and say this S18, this is called a single stage, but what I call them is a flat style snowblower. This is probably my second favorite one. I had to buy this one time because I couldn't get the Toros. There was a shortage. I can't remember the whole deal was. It was a pot shortage or something. I blew one of mine up, and that was a time when I had a lot of commercial properties. I used to keep this one on my dump truck, and I had 2 Toros on my pickup truck I do most of the plowing with. But I did a lot of walkways back then. These units, I did elderly housing. I want to explain how much I've used them too. I had an elderly housing unit, 24 unit building I did, and I was responsible for doing all the walkways. And even though it was winter, they wanted all the walking paths snow blowed, so these people, if they wanted to get out and walk around, they could. There was also a good sized patio area out front, on the side. There was paths that went to the dumpster, a smoking area. There was a big patio up back. So these, when I say these got used, every time it snowed, these got used where they got better than probably 2 tanks of fuel put in them in one storm. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that's happened, some products I used that made them last this long, I think. What I like about these, it's another one of those things. There's a lot of tools that don't get better as they get newer, they get cheaper. There's so much competition stuff going on now, and I think they make stuff. I'm not overly impressed with the new versions of this. Like if during this video, if you're looking for one and you find one of these that's 2 or 3 years old, and there's little differences I'm going to show you. This isn't going to be a review where I talk about the CCs. I'll tell you the horsepower, stuff like that, but like this is an S18. I'm going to be honest with you, that's taken a pretty good beating, because when you're overtired plowing, that thing gets taken out of the back of a dump truck and you kind of slam it up. I try to be easy, but that gets slammed on the ground. I've never broke a wheel off. That starts as good as the Toros always have. It doesn't work as well. I think it works the best of any of the other ones I've ever bought, so I'd say this is the number 2 version. The Toro is, as far as that single stage flat style, the Toros are hard to beat. As far as I'm concerned, they are the best. Toro does their homework with that one. When I bought these 2 units, I did buy a brand new Toro, and you notice the Toro's not sitting here. That was just a maintenance nightmare. And I have Toro stuff, like the snowblowers. I'm going to tell you right now that you ain't going to beat the Toro flat style snowblower. You will not beat. I've used them for 20 something years. They make the best. They're regular snowblowers. I think one of these blowers actually has the original belt still on it. I don't even think I've had to change them. I think I've adjusted them a couple times or cleaned them up, because I think mice got in it one year or something. But now I keep these inside a building. But these have been maintenance free. The carburetors have never gummed up. I mean, I do put them away with True Fuel in them, which I say that in all my videos with small engine stuff, when you put it away for the summer. There's also a product that's enzyme. It's a blue bottle. You won't miss it if you go looking for it to treat your new fuel. I also will say in this video, other than True Fuel, I don't use ethanol-free gas anymore. I don't think it's working. I wonder how much of a scam that really is with some gas stations, because I still have an issue with the water getting in it. So another thing I'll say during this video is just buy regular fuel and treat it with a product. But these engines, these are I'm going to say the old style. This is a Deluxe 24, which this has probably got the most hours on it, to be honest with you, because when I did the elderly housing on bad storms, this worked well. I'm not going to lie to you. But this is a 12.5 horsepower. This is the compact 24. I'll show on the handlebars. This is a 10 horsepower. I have nothing bad to say about that unit. I think overall, if I had to do it again, I think I would just buy the compact 24. I don't think you gain enough out of this for the extra money it cost me when I bought it. It's got a little bit bigger tire on it. Another thing I'm going to say about Ariens, I think they were the first company to use that style tire. And I went and looked at the new ones before I did this video, and I noticed that tire is a pretty popular tire on every brand now. So that whoever designed that tire, it works. I never felt I had any issue as far as getting through deep snow. Like I said, these have been pretty maintenance free. The new ones, this is a key that pulls out, but this goes on and off by turning it. The new ones have the pull-out style key, which I think is a bad idea. It's the same thing that's on this unit. See how they got we got the tie wrap on that. You pull it out. Just that to me, this is a throwaway motor. That's another thing that tells you it's a throwaway motor. Over the years, I've found the ones with the pull-out shutoffs. You normally see that on very cheap units. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have nothing bad to say about this. I don't think it's as good as a Toro. I think these are better than Toro. I don't think the two-stage steel blowers like that. I think these Ariens are the ones to beat. When I bought these, I did my homework, and I also have a couple small engines guys I deal with, and I said, hey, what's the deal? And he said, just stick with an Ariens, ain't no snowblowers. Most of the stuff they build is pretty decent. Everything seems to work. I've never broke any of these mechanisms. The cords, the cables have never stretched or broke. The Toro that I bought with these, I bought a big Toro, and I mean that had belt issues the first season I used it. I just remember back using it. I worked on that a lot. It just, I wasn't impressed. These have, I can't say nothing bad about these. Another thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna show you a product. This is an Ariens product, but they all make a product like this, but it's called this is called Ariens Snow Jet. This is a polymer treatment that you spray on these to make the snow not stick. What I did when I was doing that commercial stuff with these still, I mean a lot, I'm going to use them again this year. I picked up a contract again where I'm going to need at least one of these, but I haven't run these for 2 years. And I think I did start them once a summer ago, but this past summer I never started. I brought these in. This one started a little bit rough, but it came out of it. Again, I wouldn't have been surprised if I had to take the carburetor spot, but I didn't. They started right up. This one started up. This one did get used last year. Like I said, I keep this on my dump truck. The True Fuel, I think, is the secret with storing these. Most of the fuel that evaporated out, what I did is dumped about a quart of True Fuel back in them and started them. Like I said, they spit and sputter for a second because they hadn't been started for a couple of years, but that's another thing I'm going to say. I don't know, there's a bunch of companies that make the carburetors now. Like if you did that's the thing with the Toro, I did replace the carburetor, and I just went online, bought an aftermarket one. It wasn't a big expense, just a pain in the butt to get at, but I fixed it and sold it. I don't miss it. You're going to see another thing I want to say about these, about this product. I used to spray these completely down, inside and out. I sprayed the tops of the motor with it. You'll see the hooks on this one. There's two there and there's one here. I had a crane mechanism on one of my plow trucks, and this used to get picked up with I had a hand crank crane. This one stayed on the truck just like these little ones do now. And another thing that product saved is that most of the time you'd have a rusty blob of crap, because when you put these on the back of a truck, they're normally on your truck for 3 months, 3.5, 4 months. All the salt, sand, and calcium we use in New Hampshire, anything you put on the back of your truck, like this here, if you look, you can see the rust on the sheet metal parts of it. Same thing with this. Before I put that on the truck today, I'm going to soak this down with that stuff because it will slow down that rust issue too. But these are in very good shape for something that was used commercially for 6 or 7 years. I think, again, I'm going to say, I think there's things I like about this better than the new ones. I don't like that pull-out key. This is pretty simple to pull apart if you've got to get at that carburetor or the primer ball. The new ones seem to be dolled up a little more with plastic, but all I can see that doing is making it more difficult to work on. This is all tin. All the new ones are plastic, and you can see this muffler's kind of smashed in. It's because when it was on the crane, like, again, at the time I was using these, I was in a plow truck probably for 22 to 27 hours doing my route. It was I had myself stretched out pretty thin, so you get a little wild putting that on the back of a truck, and it used to hit the side of the steel caster sander I had on it. That's taken a beating. I like the idea. I don't like the idea how they went plastic with everything. Both of these everything is tin. I just think that's the way to go. Maybe they're looking at it, well, the plastic won't rust. I'm not gonna lie to you, I think you'd be better off if you could find one of these older units. You also will find too, if you can find one of these at a local hardware store that carries Ariens, they may have one of these because their stuff hangs around a little bit longer. Any big box store, you'll find already onto the new style with all the plastic. Most hardware stores will order probably 30 of these, and when they're sold, so they might have something that's 2 or 3 years old but brand new. This one here, you can see there's some rust in that chute. Like I said, this is the one with the most use, but I used to spray this I mean, pretty much if I was getting gas in the truck, I would take a can. I had a can of that. I'd probably go through 8 cans of that a year. And other than that, I believe this would be a rusty blob. Because another thing I'm going to say about these, you look at these units being used commercially, there's very little rust on them. And why I'm going to say that is because that elderly housing I had, and I also had 2 medical buildings. I was responsible, the contract, I had to go back every 2 inches of snow, clean the sidewalks, snow blow them off, put rock salt on when I left. So during a big storm, you'd go back. The next time you were snow blowing stuff with a lot of rock salt in it, sometimes calcium. So to see them have that little bit of rust on them, I think you're going to find that product also, it's just a good product to spray on it for that reason too. And I wasn't shy with it. I don't think it's cheap neither. I want to say, I'm going to guess that's probably $8 a can. It will last probably, that one can probably sprays these down 3 times. But like I said, when I get ready to pull these out into use again, I'm going to spray even the fuel tank. You can tell this one stayed on the back of my truck because if you look, there's a brown tinge to that fuel tank. So again, I'm going to treat that. I might even clean that up and put a little bit of clear coat over it just to slow that process down a little bit. But these everything on these works and works well. They don't plug up like a lot of other units. Like I said, my reviews on these are going to be real life things. I'm not going to do like some YouTubers do and tell you what the CCs and this and that. And I'm just telling you what works and doesn't work for me. These have been good units. And on these, if you're looking at them, don't be afraid to buy that Compact 24. I'm probably as impressed with that as I am this bigger one. This throws the snow a little bit further, the chutes. I also think this would be a little like throwing this on the truck. I think this would get racked out of shape a lot quicker. This one's got it's a bigger unit. It's got the turn thing like this style. This one here is a little smaller handle. Everything seems to be tighter on this machine. I also like how that's tighter, and it's just a tighter unit. As far as if you're using them commercial, throwing them in. If you're a homeowner, you're just gonna be putting it in the shed. But even like snow blowing, like that elderly housing I had a lot of shrubbery. You got more of a chance of getting that stuck in shrubbery that's hanging out than you do these tighter units. So overall, I would say buy that Compact 24. Has plenty of horsepower. The difference between the 10 and 12.5 horsepower, I don't know, I didn't see a big difference. They went up in horsepower because they made this more of a commercial style. But I will say Ariens does well. All their cables, all them cables and everything on that whole unit are all the original. I don't even believe I've even adjusted them. Like this one here, you can see that center, like a freeze plug they pound in the end of that unit. This one's getting rusty, but like I said, these have seen a lot of rock salt go through them. This also took a beating. You can see that hook's a little bent. This went in and off a truck sometimes, 3 or 4 times a storm for years. And it's never racked out of shape. It's still, the handlebars are tight. I run a full synthetic AMS oil in these. And that's why they're in the shop right now. They're getting an oil change. And I'll show you the AMS oil synthetic. I'll pull that out. I'll guarantee that's still yellow, and it comes out looking almost as clean as it went in. But when you're starting these, if you have these both have the electric start, I will show that. I've never used them because they start in like 2 pulls. Even now, I don't want to start them because I'm going to be working out here and I don't want the smell in here, but these will start right up. They probably, like I said, they set. And I started these yesterday. I think this one started in 8 or 10 poles. That one started in 2. Once I ran them, I let them both run for 5 minutes, open the garage door. After that, they started right up in 1 or 2 poles, which is normal. The gas in there might be a little bit skunked because it's been in there for a couple of years. I do use these around the house. Last year I didn't because we had such a mild winter. I never even took them out. I do believe I did start them once a summer ago, but I just want to show, again, my YouTube channel is going to do these reviews. It's not going to be a typical where I tell you every little detail about it. I'm just going to tell you whether it was a good unit or a bad unit. These are good units. The new ones have an LED light on them. I don't think that's a good idea because I think they're going to have the same problem Fisher did the first. All the plow companies went LED. They are a better light as far as seeing. The problem they had with the plow trucks, and I still have some lights on one of my trucks that's old enough so the LEDs, they don't create heat. So once in a while, you get a storm where you're plowing and it's the stuff that, like, there's a mist that comes up off your plow, they'll freeze up and you got to get out and actually clean them off. What I've found, again, I don't want to keep showing that product, but that snow jet, you spray your headlight with it, the snow don't stick to it. I think you're going to find people are going to complain that they freeze up. And they don't work well. These here always melt off because they create a little bit of heat. I don't ever remember have to clean one of them off. So that was another thing I see on the new ones I didn't like. The plastic shrouding around the motor just to make it look pretty. I hate that stuff, you know what I mean? Anytime you can put a steel shield on, I think it's better. Even this stuff, these are both plastic on both machines. The problem I have with that, let's say something, you put this in your garage after it's been out snowblowing, it's ice cold, I'll guarantee that plastic will crack if something ever fell on it or a shovel. I can say I've never had an issue, but that's just one. Most plastics, when they're cold, is when they're gonna break. These motors, they do little things too. Like I didn't look at that on the new ones, but like Ariens makes these very simple to do an oil change. They've already got the extensions on them so the oil doesn't, you can have it come out and go into a bucket. Both machines are that way. This motor is used on multi-units, you can tell, because they got a plug in the normal oil check and then they put the tube style oil check. These are very, again, these are robustly made, they're easy to read. Made in the USA. I don't know how much of it's made in the USA, but I noticed they put that sticker on. You gotta be careful when you see that. Made in the USA with foreign parts, I don't know. I'm not gonna come out and say that one way. I'm just gonna say these were good. These are probably the best snowblowers I've had since I've been in business. And I've probably bought 8 or 10 of them new over the years, I'm gonna guess. And it ain't a surprise. I don't know how many years Ariens been in business with snowblowers, but it's been a long time. So like I said, all these handles are all the original ones. Nothing's ever broke. Even the plastic stayed on them. And leaving one of these on the back of a truck in the salt and elements, if it's going to wipe something out like that, that'd be what would do it. So, and again, even the keyways, they're heavy. These come with a couple on it. This one here, I did break. And it was because it would pull a rock in or something and stop it. They had river rock along all the walkways of one place I used to keep care of, and it would get a piece of river rock cranked up in it. But again, a little bit of rust that's in there. I might actually sand that today and paint it. I don't plan on getting rid of these units. Like right now, I don't have contracts where I got to do a lot of walkways. I'm trying to step away from those type contracts. I ended up getting one of my commercial properties back this year. That's why I'm digging these out. If we have a bad storm, I'm going to throw one of these on. Probably the back of my dump truck or something. At one time in my younger days, I would have picked that up and threw it on the back of my truck probably by myself. Even when I was doing it, I just came up with that crane unit. And that's something you can look at if you guys are doing it commercially. I put those hooks on, that works slick. Even with the sander on my truck, I just mounted one. I want to say I bought it from Harbor Freight for like 149 bucks. It was a real cheap unit. With a hand crank winch and just a hydraulic cylinder, but it comes with the plates to bolt it to your flatbed and everything. But that's a good way to get those on and off. These are the products that I use. That red armor is pretty good stuff if you're gonna have stuff sitting like a snowblower when you put it away for the season. That enzyme fuel treatment's very good at keeping the water out. This ethanol shield I believe I get from Napa. That's another good product, and that's the synthetic oil I use. These call for the 1030, and that's the snow stuff, but if someone wants to get it. I've had very good luck with all these products. That enzyme stuff has been around. I want to say I've been using that 4 or 5 years plus. The red armor is something my local hardware store sells, and I buy their 2-stroke oil that has that in it. I started I'll put some of that in these snowblowers when I put them away at the end of winter with the ethanol free. And like I said, them had set well over a year and started up in 8 to 10 poles, which ain't bad. I don't know if this does all kinds of stuff. Fights the corrosion and gumming up varnish, and it's obvious that neither one of, I really thought I was going to be redoing one of those carburetors after sitting that long. I normally try to run my stuff, them there just get forgotten. I didn't have a contract where I needed them last year, so they set. But like I said, I just wanted to show these products. So we're going to call this video here. I just thought I'd do a review on these. I dug them out today. I'm going to try to keep doing these reviews. People seem to like them. And I think they like how I'm just an honest, I'm not that typical tech guy or small engines repair shop that does a review on something. I've used these enough years so I know they're good units or bad units. You're going to see some videos coming up too. It's probably going to be closer to summertime. I've kind of got stuff set up. I want to. This was a good time of year to do the snowblower stuff. I got some other tools I'm going to be doing reviews on. But again, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.